Hi, Gina Shrunk here, and we are ready for another episode of our Social Coffee Chat. And today we're going to talk about one of our favorite tools here at Social Connects, and that is PicMonkey. I don't know where they came up with the name, but there used to be a site called Picnic, and Google bought them and I think incorporated a lot of their editing tools into Google+. And so PicMonkey emerged out of the dust of all of that, and they're very integrated from what I can tell with Facebook. So it's kind of interesting when you look at some of the features, but this is a tool we use almost daily to edit and tweak photos that we're going to use in our social media posts. I use it every time I'm writing a blog post as well. So any of your photos, whether they're photos of you or your team members, or whether they're photos you're purchasing off of iStock Photo or Shutterstock, it's a great tool. So let me just show you a few of the things that you can do within PicMonkey. So you'll notice the three categories here. Edit a photo, and this is where you can do all kinds of editing, fun things to the photo, filters, and whiten your teeth, and brighten your eyes, all kinds of fun kind of Photoshop tools, as well as editing the photo to add overlays to them. Maybe for a holiday you want a snowman hat on and a carrot nose, just hypothetically, and you want to do that for your profile pics on all your social media sites. You can do that in this edit a photo area. And then you can create collages. Now again, we use this a lot, especially for realtors, where we might have several different yards, for example, a front yard, and say, which front yard do you like better, A, B, C, or D? So you can put pictures side by side. Or if you're a restaurant, you might put two of your menu items and say, what are you hungry for, A or B? And it helps get engagement with those photos on your social sites. So again, collages are great. You might be celebrating anniversaries within your company, and we've done that as well, where you can put mini pictures into one area, and PicMonkey will allow you to do that very easily and make them look really nice and professional. Or you can actually do a design, and this is great if you're trying to redo your banner for your Facebook page, or the image for your YouTube channel, or any of these social sites. And you'll notice they automatically have a Facebook cover size, so that's why my guess is somehow they're incorporated with Facebook, because you'll see several areas where they have automatically placed the size for different Facebook images. But you can do, for example, for a YouTube channel, they're very big images, so you need a 1500 by 1000 pixel image. Well, you can take your photos, bring them in here to this custom area, and make it the size you want. So those are basically the areas, but let me just go right in and open it up here. Now, another thing to note is there are two levels of PicMonkey, and there's the free version, which I would tell everyone, start out definitely with the free version, because there's a lot of features in the free area. With the paid version, you might get a few more fonts available. You might get the mascara feature instead of just the teeth whitening, or airbrush. I think you already get some of the airbrush features. Not that I've used any of those or know anything about those, but just in case. Okay, this is a hysterical picture right here, but we're not going to edit that one. But in case you want some six-pack abs, here's how to get them. Okay, I'm totally off topic on that, but let me just pick a photo. I should have already picked one ahead of time, but here's one here. And this is a photo that I took with my phone at, I think it was Anthropology. So again, here's another tip for you when we're talking about photos. Carry your phone or your camera everywhere you go, because you just never know when you'll see something. Now, when I saw these chairs stacked in their window, kind of right when you walked in the store, I didn't know what I was going to use them for, but it was just so striking that I wanted to capture a couple different shots of that. And then I can always go in and play around with it and make the filter brighter, make the colors more vibrant, and add some text here. But let's just say that I wanted to edit this photo and add some more to this already edited picture. I could crop the photo if I needed a different size, which, by the way, if I needed this to be a different size, you don't necessarily have to go into that design area. You can come down here to resize, and when I click on resize, it allows me to put in the dimensions that I need, and it will automatically, so if I wanted this to be 1000 by 1500, I can do that. Looks pretty much the same, but oh, I see what happened. You do have to uncheck the keep proportions. So if you're wanting to change the size dramatically, it's going to assume you want it to still look proportionate. So if I uncheck that, I could put this one at 1500, and then it will look a little, short and squatty. But again, you'll be able to tell what it's going to look like. And then I may say, no, I need to crop the photo first, and then I can change the sizing of it so it doesn't look short and squatty. If anything, we want our photos lean looking. So I would apply that if I wanted to resize it. I can do, a couple things here, changing the colors and so forth. But so in your crop little tool icon, these are the features available to you. If you go into the little magic wand, this is where you can play around with the different filters. So maybe I want my photo to be black and white to look a little, like a cool old photo that I found in Grandma's photo box. This one is interesting because it gives me a focal point that stays in color. I can change that focal point. I can move it around, make it bigger or smaller. There's so much you can do in here that I always tell people, get in and play with some of these features so that you'll become familiar with them, that you can use them, in your business. But, definitely play around. But let's just say that I wanted it to be an old looking photo, just black and white. I apply that. Here's a tip on adding text to your images, which I recommend if you're using images in your business social posts. Putting text, at least putting your website on here or a watermark with your logo, it helps prevent people from just stealing all your photos. And especially if you've paid a lot of money. I mean, we subscribe to different photo sites, and we pay a lot of money, so yearly subscriptions to these sites. So we're buying a lot of photos, and we spend a ton of time really searching for those cool pictures, not the corny, I call corporate porn, that looks like a team all giving a thumbs up with a paper presentation on a flip chart behind them. I mean, those are just old, dated pictures, and nobody really believes that it's your team. So look for cool pictures, and then protect those pictures with your logo or watermark. So let's say that I want to pick, and you'll see all of these features, all of the different fonts, and any of them that have the little orange crown, those are the premium level fonts. So you couldn't use those unless you upgrade. And I think it's only 20 some odd dollars a year. So after you use it a lot, you're going to realize, all right, I might as well pay. At least the people at PicMonkey should stay in business so we can keep using it. So that was my main motive for subscribing to their service, because I love everything we do on here. But I pick a font and I say add text. Now I come over here and I'm going to just type socialconnects.com. So I can obviously change, I guess obviously I need to type it first, socialconnects.com. And I want to make this, I want to change the color to white because I'm on a dark background. So I can do that, and then I can move the text box wherever I want it, and by just sizing the box smaller, it makes the font smaller. So I don't necessarily have to use the font sizer here. I can, but you can also resize the box bigger or smaller here. Now, one thing that I've discovered is when I want to put an overlay, sometimes I'll want a talk bubble. So I find a cool picture, maybe it's a vintage picture, or maybe it is one of those corny team pictures, but then I want to put something funny to turn a corny business porn picture into something really cool. Well, then all you have to do is add some fun talk bubbles or thought bubbles above the heads of the people. So this was something I discovered kind of playing around with PicMonkey, because I put in my thought bubble or my talk bubble, and as you stretch it, you'll notice the whole thing stretches wide as well as tall. And I wanted it to be long and skinny, not taller, because it was taking up too much space. And I couldn't figure out, I thought there's got to be a way to do that. But anything I was doing was keeping the proportions the same. So to change the proportions, if you hold down your shift key and then stretch it, it allows you to change the proportion. So the shift key, another place where there's some hidden features, if you're on a PC, you would right click. If you're on a Mac, you would hit control and then click, and you'll notice there are some other features to put the bubble behind your text, for example, or to duplicate. If I want to put a bunch of circles somewhere, I can create one and then duplicate that overlay by hitting right click or control click on a Mac. So those are some helpful tips for those of you who are using PicMonkey, but maybe just didn't click enough buttons. See, I'm one of these people. I click enough buttons till it either breaks or I learn how to do something really cool. Okay, so another cool thing that you can do within PicMonkey, and I thought I would just bring up a clean photo to show you here. You can also do some things, and I talked about overlays, where you can put different images over, and this is where during the holidays it's kind of fun to add things to your profile picture, to change it, or maybe you want to put a team picture. We've even created Christmas cards that we sent out, and I used PicMonkey, and I put everyone's picture, and then I made everyone look like snowmen and Santa hats and all of this, and I did this right in PicMonkey. So PicMonkey has, in the overlay area, they usually have a holiday section. Well, right here at the bottom you'll see it's still winter, so they still have the Winterland ones available. But so I went to the Frosty mixed snow. There were also some Santa, there's holly, so they still have a lot of them. I think they've taken away all the Santa ones. But during different holidays, during Halloween, they have a lot of creepy ones. I don't know what's up with zombies, but there's lots of zombie features in PicMonkey, even fonts. You can have Dracula and zombie fonts, but come in here and play around with the holiday or seasonal area, or I can go to the overlays and I don't know, if I wanted little butterflies flying around her head, for whatever reason, you can actually overlay these and then turn them a little. But one thing that, again, I kind of discovered by playing around was you can overlay your own images. So let's say I wanted to add a picture on top of this picture, or more importantly, my logo on top of this picture. So I would go in and I would take my logo and let's say I want it to look like she has a Social Connects shirt on. So I first get the logo on here the way I want it, so it kind of looks a little realistic. I should put it over the gap in her shirt, since maybe she didn't realize she had that. But let's say you're going to put it here. Now, a little box pops up on the right hand side when you add an overlay. You can fade the image a little bit so that it isn't as stark. So maybe what you put on the picture is a really bright white or too dark of a black, and it doesn't match the image. You can fade that using the fade bar here on the right. But if you look at the blend modes, when you have a white stark background, I want to darken that, and it takes the coloring of the background that you're putting it on. So when I remove it, it looks like she actually works here, because this is what we all look like when we're working, except we don't have gaps in our shirts. But play around with this overlay feature and all of the things that you can do. Again, if I wanted to duplicate that, I just simply right click on it or control click, and I can duplicate that. I can move it to the back. I can do different things to that overlay, just like I can with the font. So those are some fun things that you can do, and when you're finished, always save your image. And then I love the fun attitude of PicMonkey, because when you go to save it, do you want the 007 Roger or Pierce or Sean version? So obviously the Sean version is the best version, because it's a higher quality photo that it's saving it as, but it's also a larger file. So if I need this for something large, print, or if I want it for a large image on a social media site that I need it to be big, definitely go Pierce or Sean. If this is going to be something very small, or you're using it in an area that's very small, then the Roger size is going to make it a smaller size for you, and you won't have to do as much to that as far as image size. So little tip on the why would you save it in different formats. The size does matter. So you can change it there. And then I would just say save it to my computer and put it somewhere where you can find it. And it's absolutely free. I mean, PicMonkey, again, has features for you that are paid versions. I love a lot of the paid versions because I just don't have to worry about which images are premium, which ones are free. But again, you can play with this for a long time using the free version. And, then when you start feeling guilty and can't sleep at night, then ante up and give the folks at PicMonkey a few dollars. Throw them some peanuts over there. But hopefully this was helpful, and I hope you have a lot of fun playing with your images. We'd love to hear and see about the images. I'd love to hear about the images or see the images that you've created, and I hope to see them on all your social media sites. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me, Gina@socialconnects.com. I'm always on Twitter here, at Gina Schreck, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.